This is PopXcast, where science fiction meets pop culture. We're a geek podcast for geek culture, so are you ready to get your geek on? Sit back, relax, step out of your TARDIS and warm up your chimichangas because this is PopXcast.
You are listening to PopXcast, where science fiction meets pop culture.
Captain's log supplemental.
PopXcast.
Hasta la vista, baby.
By the power of Grayskull, Autobots, transform.
Excelsior! I'm Austin Burke, your Appalachian geek at heart, and we would like to welcome everyone joining us live in the PopX.live chat room. Come hang out with us and join the conversation at PopXcast.com. If this is your first time tuning into PopX, the first 20 minutes or so, we will run down the headlines since our last show and then dive into the show topic at the halfway point. But first, the myth, and the gorgeous-looking legend. It's Joseph Burke. How you doing?
What's up, cuz? How's it going in your neck of the woods, man? What's new in Lexington, Kentucky right now?
Buddy, just a lot of traffic. I don't know what it is right now, and
traffic.
I guess it's Valentine's Day because we were out today.
All the hillbillies getting all their candied hearts. Is that what?
Man, but Lexington though. I mean, you got a very like.
I'm trying to unpack that one.
They're trying their best to be uppity, civilized, but they cannot drive. Let me tell you.
Well, we know everybody out of Floyd County is probably going to go to McDonald's for.
No, man, it is chaos out there. It's the last second Valentine's Day gifts, I guess, because there were 3 wrecks today on the road to our house on Man and War Boulevard. It was ridiculous.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
well, it's been almost a month since I've seen your beautiful face. So I mean, dude, I mean, we have a lot to talk about this evening, and so I want to say a huge shout out right now over to the chat room. We got Sean Hockney now. We know he is a staple listener to PopX, and every time we post it, he's always one of the first ones to click on that notification and get the reminder. But I want to say hello to Mr. Luke, and we also have Jay Cowley hanging out with us here tonight, and a host of others streaming throughout all the entire multiverses, if you will, here in PopX land. But I'm so excited about tonight and just being able to sit down and just chat about a movie, and that's something that you and I, we have this crazy chemistry that's just, you can't even explain it, but you and I guess we just feed off each other, and that's just how we work. But anywho, I'm your host, Joseph Burke, Central Florida's seasoned comic book nerd and retro enthusiast. Now, we're part of an amazing network of the Creative Collective, if you will, from a vast expanse known only as the Creative Multiverse. Now, this is a network of creatives, and it's lightly sprinkled with a talent that surpasses even our own imaginations, and that we can even begin to fathom. For more information on the Creative Multiverse, visit Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at the Creative Multiverse. Now, we're eager to see what kind of creative talents that lie and await within you. Now, if you missed episode 106, where we were talking about the 2020 predictions, you can catch that out right now. That is on our PopX archive. And, it was a really great show because I think a lot of our predictions is going to be some really big heavy hitters coming up in 2020. Check out our official website, popxcast.com, for this and other past shows from PopX's collective archive. And be sure to head on over to Google Play and iTunes after the show. Click on that subscribe button and be sure to catch up on some amazing shows from our creative collective. And while you're there, we'd certainly appreciate you showing us some love by leaving a 5-star rating and review. And that is how we do that as Hooked on Phonics worked for me. Crazy thing. Oh man, we got Cody O'Toole in the house. What's going on, man? It's so good to see you. Thanks for coming in here. And guys, if you're watching this right now, please click it, like, share it, send it to a rocket on the moon. I don't care what you do with it, just do something with it. But yeah, that was a mouthful, Austin.
It's a lot of stuff, man. But you gotta get through it. And
I'm grinding, bro.
I'm on that grind.
I'm grinding, bro.
It's all about
grinding, bro. So before we kick off the news this week, we have been challenged This is a straight face challenge. So we have to look at each other in the camera, and the first one to smile loses. All right, you ready for this? All right, so let me get some ominous music here, queued up here. Here we go. All right, you ready? All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Did you just break? Sounds like you're grunting over there. Sounds like you went to the buffet bar at Golden Corral. Daggone you. What in the world was the grunts, dude? I can't even with you right now.
I was trying to get you with my grunts.
Why? Why did it have to be you making...
I knew you'd like my grunts.
I can't with you, man. You're disgusting, and I love every second of it. Anyway, oh my God, my face is red. All right, we'll be right back. We got news headlines coming up. Don't go anywhere. All right.
Extra, read all about it. This is PopX News coming to you live right here
Oh shoot.
PopXcast.com.
All right, so Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of Harley Quinn is changing its name to Birds of Prey. Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey. So this was one that really made me like kind of raise an eyebrow, like, what? So all theater chain sites, after a struggle to fly at the box office in its opening weekend, the R-rated DC Comics movie, which had a lesser budget than most other major comic book films in the DC or Marvel brand, opened to only $33.2 million at the domestic box office. Now, other R-rated comic book films in recent years, such as Deadpool, Joker, opened with more than 130 million and a 90 million, respectively. Now, Birds was not expected to reach such heights, but it was projected to earn closer to 50 million in its debut weekend. Now, all right, Austin, unpack this for me. Why would Warner Brothers, this late up in the game, want to switch the title? I mean, have you ever seen anything like that before?
The closest thing I've ever seen was recently when Cats went back and redid their CGI and inserted it into the film 2 weeks into release because so many people were complaining about it.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, it didn't even make that much of a difference, but this is a title change. Like,
it's weird, right?
And here's my question, though. Why did DC decide on Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn? That is the worst. Granted, it suits the character, but marketing-wise and getting people to actually type this in on Fandango and Cinemark and Regal, what are you doing? What a horrible marketing strategy. And I get the name change, but here's an idea. Do it before the movie releases. It's a Harley Quinn film.
Well,
Call it Harley Quinn. And if you want to put Birds of Prey in the subtitle, do it. Oh, look, they did it, but it's 2 weeks too late.
Yeah.
They're trying to compensate for the low box office. It's not a box office disaster,
Right.
but it's not what they wanted. They wanted 50 million. They got 33 million. And it's looking like it may have a reasonably sized drop off this next weekend. So we'll see if the name change works, but it's a weird decision.
It is a very weird decision. And before I share my thought, I want to say a huge shout out to Mr. Derek Smith, one of my best friends here in Claremont. Love you, dude. You're awesome. But so it was very strange for me because, I mean, we've seen even Star Wars has changed its name, but that was decades after. Like, when Star Wars came out, it was just Star Wars. And when The Empire Strikes Back came out, it was Star Wars: A New Hope, and so they changed. But that made sense because there was a continuity, there was a storyline there. But I agree with you, man. This title, The Emancipation of, I was just really, I mean, who are the ad wizards that come up with this one?
Yes, exactly. A horrible marketing.
And it just goes to show you, nobody at Warner Brothers knows what the heck they're doing.
And that's the thing, though, is they've got, I mean, the consensus has been that this is a pretty good movie, and you're going to ruin, you managed to botch this with the title. I mean, it's crazy.
The movie's not bad. The movie is not bad.
Exactly.
The movie's great. Which is why we're doing an episode on a movie about Harley Quinn. It's not bad, but what the heck are you doing? What are you doing? I don't know.
I don't.
So what do you think about it? Now, what do you guys think about a studio? Now they're going to have to reprint every poster, recut every movie. So there's going to be a new digital movie sent to all movie houses with the new title. Do you know how much money overhead that this is going to cost them?
It's insane.
That's a lot of money to change it up this late in the game. Look at all the merch that's been printed. I mean, have you thought
Posters,
about?
I
mean, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, no.
Maybe this is worse than the Cats thing, because the Cats thing you just had to bring, and this is anything, ads, everything.
Yeah, it sucks.
Oh,
Yeah, it sucks.
oh.
All right,
not good.
enough of Harley Quinn. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's
all
move on to Tom and Jerry.
Tom and
Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry's. Yeah, you know.
Okay. Jerry lives down the street, celebrating 80 years of cat and mouse hijinks, created by William Hanna and Joseph Barbera. The duo debuted the short "Puss Gets the Boot." I think I've seen. No, that's a different movie. In 1940.
What is wrong with No, man, this Puss Gets the Boot. Oh, I've seen that movie. Wait.
That's a different one, man. It's
Okay.
the nether region. All right. They went on to star in 164 animated shorts produced by Metro Goldwyn Mayer Film Company, or MGM. Oh, my goodness. Winning 7 Academy Awards for animated short films. Their popularity led to a series of spin-off shows, including The Tom and Jerry Show in 1975, The Tom and Jerry Comedy Show in 1980, Tom and Jerry Kids in 1990, Tom and Jerry Tales in 2006, and The Tom and Jerry Show, which debuted in 2014 and is still airing. Joe, what do you think about 80 years of Tom and Jerry?
Well, I grew up on Tom and Jerry. It was just always one of those funny little cartoons. Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, and Hanna-Barbera. I mean, come on. It doesn't get any better than the trifecta there. And, you know, you can't forget, like, you know, Yogi Bear and all the classics and Scooby-Doo and all that. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's really fantastic what they're doing. And you know, the fact that the 164 animated shorts, I mean, that's astounding if you think about it. And it is a lot. And the fact that Tom and Jerry is still a household name today, just, you know, it speaks volumes about just the franchise as two characters, cat and mouse, you know, always have been at the forte of any kind of story that you always say. So it's kind of neat to hear the perspective of that. But I think it's really cool, and how the Metro Goldwyn is commemorating this 80th anniversary. 80 years, dude. Jeez. That's crazy.
That's what's so amazing. The show, it's such a simple concept. It's a cat and a mouse. How can you come up with that many episodes? But they have, and every episode is so distinct. So it's impressive, man.
And unique.
It really is what they
My favorite Tom and Jerry episode. Do you have one on the top of your head before we move to the next one?
I think anything with the bulldog. What's the bulldog's name? Does he have
Butch. Was it Butch?
Well, it probably was, but dude, anything with his character, I think, is absolutely, because didn't he have a little son too that would always run around with him? And
Yes.
oh my god.
Yeah.
Dude, those episodes.
My favorite one is when the uncle to Jerry came and visited. Oh, Froggy went according and he did riding Crembone. Froggy went according and he did riding Crembone. And he would break a string and he would poke one out of Tom's.
Oh my gosh, man. Oh, that's a classic.
It is very classic and it's pretty awesome. So anyway, Jessica Payne just said that she just came back from watching Birds of Prey as well. So Jessica, hey, drop us a note here in a minute. Let us know what you think about it. All right, moving on with the headlines. Marvel Comics on Monday announced that The Marvels, a new ongoing series from Kirk Busiek and Yildri Senar, described the biggest, wildest, most sprawling series ever to hit the Marvel Universe. Now, the expensive series takes readers across the Marvel Universe and beyond with appearances from Spider-Man, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, the Fantastic Fours, Human Torch, and Reed Richards, Storm of the X-Men, the Punisher, and more, as well as introduce 2 new characters to the Marvel Universe. In an interview with Marvel.com, Busek said, teases the upcoming epic that can go anywhere, do anything, and use anyone from the Marvel Universe. And so this is going to be a brand new film story series that's just going to literally, I know they're getting ready to bring one out in April. It's going to be called Empire. And it's going to, for the first time, the Avengers and X-Men are going to be teaming up. It's a 12-part series, so you can actually go to your local comic book store right now and hit the sub button and subscribe it, and you'll get each issue in your box at your local comic shop. But Empire is going to be one of those game changers. It's going to kind of like, you're going to have Avengers and X-Men working side by side to fight a big bad that they've never fought before. So it's going to be kind of cool to hear that.
Well, Marvel, they're constantly taking risks in the movie world, and I feel like they're doing that more and more with their comic books. And these stories, at a point, they got so extensive, but then they started to become stale, and it felt repetitive. But now it feels like they're going outside of the box and combining all of these characters in the way that they did in Endgame. So I love that they're taking notes from each other, man. And this just look at the characters. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, it's going to be a great series, and so definitely check this one out when it launches. And Empire as well. But the Marvels, definitely here. Look forward to that one coming up later this year at your local book stand.
All right, so let's move on to a very big topic I'm so excited to talk about. So this is the 92nd Annual Academy Awards kicked off on Sunday night, and they gave movie fans quite a lot to take in. In addition to finding out which films were awarded or snubbed, the telecast itself had some pretty memorable moments. One unexpected sequence came during the nominees for Best Adapted Screenplay, giving 2 prolific DC characters mainstream praise in a major way. Joker was among the nominees in the category, and the gritty DC movie was credited as being, I love this, based on the characters by Bob Kane, Bill Finger, and Jerry Robinson at the Oscars, for DC Comics fans, especially those familiar with the history of Batman and the characters in his orbit. This moment was incredibly bittersweet. Batman's creation has been shrouded in controversy, as Kane was credited as the sole creator of Batman for decades. In recent years, an effort has been made to acknowledge Finger's instrumental role with the character, thanks in part to the documentary Batman and Bill. What a wonderful documentary.
Oh, I love that documentary.
It's
it's
good,
sad.
man.
It's sad, very sad, but oh my gosh, the justice that he gets finally.
As he...
Should.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Robinson, who served as an artist on many Golden Age Batman issues, is also regarded to have a pivotal role in Joker's visual design. So seeing those names during the Oscar ceremony, something that I noticed, and I'm sure many other DC fans noticed, it was really cool. And Joker is a character that was very much represented at this year's Academy Awards, which was also cool. And Joe, I saw this on Twitter the other day. It made me crack up. It said, Batman, 0. Joker, 2, talking about Oscars. Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix, both Oscars. That's, oh my God, man, that is awesome.
Well, I think too, it says a lot about the gravity of that character in that role specifically. When you get into the role, you're not, no disrespect to Cesar Romero. Cesar Romero was the first ever Joker, but you know, when Frank Miller changed the perspective of the Joker in 1986, when he released the Dark Knight comic graphic novel saga, it changed Joker and Batman forever. And that's when we got the Tim Burton 1989 Batman. I think that role specifically is it's a daunting role to take on. And I don't think anybody else in Hollywood other than Joaquin Phoenix or Heath Ledger or Jack Nicholson can accurately portray that role. Just because Jack Nicholson, well, The Shining, Clockwork Orange, can I keep going on? I mean, it's amazing. But then you have Heath Ledger, and then you have, oh my God, Joaquin Phoenix, Walk the Line. He played freaking Johnny Cash. And Her, have you seen Her?
Oh my God,
Gosh.
Her is one of the best movies of that year.
I mean, so yes, I'm very happy that Oscars are being going to actors who have put every ounce of their fiber of their being into this role. I think that's just fantastic. And you had tweeted something this week. I didn't mean to interrupt you. You had tweeted something this week that the filmmaker finally won. Did you remember? It was something to that effect, right? It was you weren't talking about like the Hollywood, that stiff comic book movies or the genres. You were talking about the film that should have won. Yeah. And I love that
way for pretty much. I mean, obviously, I was rooting for Avengers Endgame for visual effects, and that didn't get it. And I wish that would have been represented in more categories. But we look at the movies that ended up winning all of the awards this year, and I look at most of them and say, well, those were deserved. I mean, no one expected Parasite to win Best Picture, but it is by consensus the best movie of the year. The problem is the Oscars have always been more of a political thing than the best movies of the year. So even though I thought it was going to be 1917 or Parasite, I'm like, oh, they're probably going to give it to the one that appeals to the most. But no, man. And they went that way with every category. I mean, you're giving awards to Joaquin, and Joker won for score as well. And the score in Joker, let me tell you,
it's amazing.
Outstanding.
It's amazing.
Outstanding. So
isn't it the same? Isn't it the same composer that did Chernobyl? Did Joker?
Yes, dude. What a year she had.
I know. And she is a celloist, and she does things with the cello with the sound effects. If you've never seen Chernobyl on HBO.
100.
Holy cow, guys. It is so freaking eerie, but so cool. You can't stop watching it. Amazing.
So good.
Amazing.
So good.
Dude. And so before we move on into the last two segments of headlines, as we're wrapping up headlines, is there anything from the Oscars that you want to highlight? Is there anything that happened this past Sunday night that you just want to expand on for a moment?
Well, 1917 was my favorite movie of last year, so obviously that was the one that I was happy to see win.
Love 1917.
But as I told you before we started this, I do honestly believe Parasite is the most distinct and different, and it's a South Korean film, and that's one of the reasons, because a foreign film, an international film, has never won Best Picture before. So to see Bong Joon-ho take home Best Director, Screenplay, Original Screenplay, and of course the big one at the end, that was completely unexpected. But 1917 got its due as well with cinematography and sound and editing, and a lot of movies were represented this year. Ford v Ferrari, a great film. Joker, 2 Oscars for Joker, man.
Wow.
Toy Story 4. So it was a great night for movies. I wish we would have seen, Adam Sandler, Uncut Gems, a movie like that, and then obviously Avengers Endgame. It's, I believe, I read on Twitter today, it's the first major blockbuster, one of the highest grossing films of all time, to not get nominated for more than one Oscar and not win an Oscar. So that's kind of a bummer, a little bit of a superhero stigma, but it was still the highest grossing movie of all time. So it has that.
It has that,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
For now.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see what happens, man. I don't know.
So anyway, I think that the Oscars, I think it was just fantastic. And really quick, for anybody that's not seen Parasite, how can people, is it on, can you purchase it right now? Is it, and you said it was an international film, so it is. I believe it's available Amazon Prime and on demand, but I think they're going to bring it back into theaters for 1 week, I think starting next week or the week after, and they're probably going to expand wide. I'd say 4,000. So you'll be on the lookout over the next couple of weeks. Get on Fandango. Is it theatrical experience? Is there English subtitles? Yes, there is. Okay, English subtitles. There was actually a leaked version going around online for a while, and that's how a lot of people were watching it. But those subtitles, people were posting pictures on Twitter, didn't make sense. So somebody subtitled it wrong. So don't watch it that way. Take it in through an Amazon, through an on-demand, because you got accurate subtitles, and it's an experience, man. I mean, I've never seen a movie like it before. I'll tell you that. So, really? Wow. So different. Yeah. So okay. Different. Yeah. Alrighty, moving on. We have 2 more, and then we're going to get into this week's topic. James Gunn is a busy man. Now, the director may be known for helming Guardians of the Galaxy for Marvel, but he's also making a rare shift to helm the Suicide Squad for DC. Now, Gunn recently revealed that he'd be wrapping up filming for DC Extended Universe movie very soon, but first they have some scenes to shoot in Panama. Last week, Gunn took to Instagram to answer some fan questions and revealed that the Suicide Squad will be different in tone from Guardians of the Galaxy. That's especially impressive now that we know that he's working on both movies at the same time. He's literally doing both. Yesterday, someone tweeted to Gunn, assuming he wouldn't be working with both companies simultaneously, and Gunn replied to confirm the opposite. I'm doing Marvel and DC at the same time right now, Gunn revealed. Holy cow. That's crazy. Has there ever... Is he the first director to ever be doing a movie from both franchises?
I think so.
Not only at the same time, but period. Yeah. Tim Burton's never done a Marvel. He's always done DC. So I'm trying to think in the back of my mind. Taika Waititi's only done Marvel. Yeah. Gunn. No, I think he's first. Now, you fact checkers out there, I want to know, is James Gunn the first guy to do both films from both competing genres? I'm really curious on that one.
There's always been a stigma of Marvel versus DC. And it's fun. I'm not going to lie to you. It's fun to compare sometimes. Yeah. But in the words of the humble man known as James Gunn, it's not a competition. We feed off of each other. DC feeds off of Marvel. Marvel feeds off of DC because superhero hype is what keeps both of these studios alive. And the fact that you can have one director taking on two very different films from two studios that are apparently competing against each other, but there's nothing but love there, and they're working out their schedule to do it, man. That's very impressive.
And it also speaks volume. One day we could see some of the heavy hitters from Marvel's past, do multiple projects, and you're not married to one company or one franchise. So I would love to see Taika Waititi tackle something like the Joker film, or a Batman, or a Superman, or Green Lantern. Could you imagine him doing a Green Lantern Corps?
We heard the Sam Raimi, and it's slightly different, but Sam Raimi did Sony's Spider-Man trilogy, and now he's coming in to do Doctor Strange 2. That was announced this last week. So that's technically two different studios coming in to do very different, not Marvel, DC, obviously, but two different companies, another superhero film. We're seeing it happen more often now.
How do you feel about Sam Raimi coming in?
I like it. I like it too. I was nervous, but I like it the more I think about it, and I think it fits.
Yes. I think it's going to be great. And I think he's learned from a lot of lessons, especially Spider-Man 3, and he's not going to repeat that. So, all right, dude, you got the last one of the week, and we're going to go into the show topic.
All right, man. So the first season of The Mandalorian came to a triumphant end, and it's safe to say that it made Star Wars fans feel a lot of emotions. While it's unclear exactly when the series' second season will debut, series creator Jon Favreau recently hinted at a fall of 2020 release date on social media. The announcement of the second season was enough to get fans hyped, but the picture that Favreau used in his announcement made things even more intriguing. The tweet featured a statue of a Gamorrean, the pig-like humanoid race that was first introduced in Star Wars Return of the Jedi. It remains to be seen if the Mandalorian's Gamorrean will be an established character from the Star Wars canon, or will it be a new character created for the series? The show has certainly done a great job of introducing new members of iconic Star Wars species, whether it be the Quill or the
Ugnaught, yeah,
Ugnaught, the Devornian bounty hunter Berg, yes, or everyone's favorite,
the child,
Baby Yoda. Yes. Yeah, you're right. It is the child. It's not Baby Yoda.
It's not Baby Yoda. It's the child. You can't. Yeah, Disney hates it when you call it Baby Yoda. They hate it. They squirm every time they hear it. There's an executive 15 miles down here. He screams at me every time I do it. Walt Disney World's 15 miles that way. Just
you are correct. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think this week's, I think that was a great collage of just, I don't know what collage means. I have no idea what that word means, but I think the news this week was on point. I love the conversation, especially on the Oscars. Super excited about that, but also want to let you know on the heels of The Mandalorian, not only are we getting that this fall, we're getting Stranger Things 4 this fall. We're also getting Falcon and Winter Soldier, and WandaVision is 2021, right?
WandaVision has been moved to 2020.
What about Loki?
2021.
Man, bring it on.
Shows
We got this. Yeah, PopX is going to be around for a long time. All right, guys. So tell you what, we're going to switch over now and do Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn. Don't go nowhere. We're going to roll a spoiler alert. Now, if you've not seen Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, I can't get that out of my head. Definitely hit the pause button right now because we're going to be discussing things that are going to be really open spoilers. So I don't want to spoil the movie for you guys, and I know you guys wouldn't want that either. So, all right. So I'm going to roll the spoiler thing. After this, you have been warned, just so you know.
Danger. You are about to enter a PopX spoiler alert. Beyond this point, there is no return. You have been warned.
You have been warned. All right, Austin, so let's talk a little bit about the overall aesthetic of the film. One thing, I'll go first on this, then we're going to just go back and forth, round table style, but I love how the film opens up as an origin story to Harley Quinn. We saw a quick origin story, probably a 30-second version of that in Suicide Squad Part 1. You know, her falling into the vat of chemicals and Joker picking her up, and she becomes, you know, the ends of her hair become colored and all of that stuff. But I really loved how we actually dive into the mentality of who she is, that she was an actual doctor, she was a psychologist, she was all of this stuff. And she fell hell over heels for the Joker. And then, so in that, you get a full-on origin story. The opening 5 or 6 minutes beautifully paints the opening for what is about to come in the next hour and a half. And I love that they actually pay homage to her original origins. Did you catch the Batman animated series outfit as it was rolling in the front?
Perfect.
Beautiful, right? It was beautiful. Yeah. And Margot Robbie does the voice of Harley Quinn so perfectly. I mean, what a great cast, first and foremost. But how this band of misfits comes together, people that you normally would never put in. It was really interesting to see how they did some of the characters, like Black Canary, for example. I was like, holy cow, they're bringing over some Arrowverse people from The Flash and Arrow. That's very interesting. But opening thoughts on the first portion of the film, Austin. What do you have to deliver for that?
Yeah, I love the way that we started. I think this is perfect. You have an R-rated film, so we're leaning into the cursing and basically what Harley Quinn does, right?
Yes.
But that's okay. Like Madison, we watched it together. She had no clue it was R-rated. So after 3 F-bombs, she turns around and goes, "Is this R-rated?" And then she snaps a guy's legs, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, it is." But it was pure Harley Quinn, man. And that was my biggest fear going into this film is how are they going to approach this team coming together? And what is the relationship between Harley and the team going to be like? Are they going to turn her into too much of a hero? Or are they going to keep her villainous roots? And I think they handled her perfectly. Margot Robbie is the ultimate. I mean, I don't think they should ever attempt to recast from her because just down to the pronunciations of every individual word, she kills it.
Puddin'.
The inclusion.
She even says puddin'.
Oh my God, man. When she started, we mentioned the animated series already, but she started spouting out lines from Harley. I mean, I watched that series up and down, and I'm just like, she's paying the ultimate homage to that show, and it's perfect, man. It's perfect.
It is.
And this supporting cast with Huntress, who I thought was outstanding.
Huntress was great.
Winstead and Mary, and you've got Ewan McGregor having the time of his life playing Black Mask. I mean, the absolute best part about this movie, in my opinion, was the cast and the characters, and that was my favorite part about every interaction was seeing these different portrayals and the dialogue and the conversation. So a really clean script and a nice overall screenplay.
Yeah.
I was really happy with how they started out.
It felt like there was a great build-up in the beginning. There was a great dynamic and the plot twist midways. And then there was a beautifully done culmination, if you will, in the finality of the film. I thought that, in Suicide Squad, it was just very all over the place. It was just too much more like you're going through a fact file and trying to read each character's, likes and pros and cons. And it was just like, this is just all over the place. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And then out of the nowhere comes an enemy that we have no idea about. And it's just like really strange. So I love, though, that the film has this, I don't want to say Deadpool vibe. And I know that you're going to probably hear that a lot, but it does. It does. And I think this is DC's call to Deadpool because they're using Harley Quinn as the antagonist to what Deadpool is to Marvel. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think you can't compare apples and oranges. You can't compare Deadpool to Harley because they're two so uniquely different characters. But Harley Quinn is that fourth wall breaker. And in this, she had 2 moments when she stares and looks at the camera. And I'm like, holy cow, she just broke the fourth wall. Did you catch that?
My God, yeah.
And I love when a film will do that randomly. But it was just such a great, there was a, B, and C, and there was no confusion on where you're going or what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? It was very, the story. Ewan McGregor, let's stop for him. The Black Mask. What a role for him to play. Now, Ewan McGregor is kind of more of a, I don't want to say staunch British actor, but he is well equipped to be able to do some very commanding roles. And for him to step into a villain role in a comic book film and just literally just go all out was amazing to watch, because I've seen something from him I've never seen before. We're so used to seeing him in, what was it, The Island? Was he in The Island? Or
yes.
Yeah. So you got that one, and then you've got, of course, these are not the droids you're looking for, as Obi-Wan Kenobi. It was just really good to see him in this role. And when he put that mask on, you could tell there's different layers of psychosis involved in this. One, he wants to cut the face of you off, but the next one, he just wants to just kill you. He doesn't really care how he does it. And so I think Black Mask was a great pull for this film, and Black Mask is actually DC canon. And so he's actually a villain. So what are your thoughts on McGregor, man? Do you think we'll see more of McGregor down the road in comic films?
Oh, see, that was my biggest bummer. And we know, apparently, the new Batman movie is still an origin story for this current version of Batman. Now, I think they'll definitely go away with that. But to see Ewan McGregor take on Black Mask like this makes me wish Ben Affleck would have showed up in this movie, because both of those going up against each other, man.
Oh, that would have been so epic,
Batman versus this Black Mask? Ewan McGregor, are you kidding me, dude? He was so extravagant, and a lot of people have been using the word flamboyant, but he was, and it worked so good for the character, man. And I loved his relationship with Zaz. I didn't know Zaz was going to be in this movie. I would have liked to have seen Zaz go a little bit more psycho killer,
Victor
like
Zaz.
he does in the comics. But man, oh man, he was great, and that villainous relationship really made up for it. And I do have my nitpicks with the story in the third act. Things start to become repetitive, and what was the real motivation of the villain side of things? Not Harley Quinn, but Black Mask and everything. And the story's really simple if you think about it. It's like, well, we got the jewel, and I ate the jewel, and I got to poop out the jewel. Okay, that's fine. But what I said before, the characters make up for this, and Ewan, other than Margot, was my favorite part of the movie. He stole every scene he was.
Yeah. And so it's to bring our viewers up to speed, like if you obviously by this point, hopefully you've seen the movie and you're not sitting here being spoiled to death. But this diamond has etched in it the plans to a location of a very wealthy Gotham family. And this location has jewels, riches beyond compare. And so that's the whole point, is Black Mask sends out Victor Zsasz to get the jewels so they can actually find this location. And so it's very interesting to see. It's a very simple story, but how they weave around that and we'll start recruiting all the birds of prey, if you will, was really interesting. Like Huntress and Black Canary, and then the cop. I can't remember the cop's name. It's failing me right off the top of my head, but it was really interesting to see how all that came to fruition. Watching the film, I didn't really see much of the poster going in. I've not really had a chance to look at it, but I didn't really expect the cop to be part of the Birds of Prey.
Yes. Yeah.
That kind of threw me off for a minute. I'm like, holy cow, she's actually joining a band of misfits to fight this guy. That was really cool.
And I love how they stuck to Harley Quinn's character, because we get to the end, and not to skip that far ahead, but she doesn't join the Birds of Prey. And that's why I was questioning the title until they changed it a few days ago, because she's not in the Birds of Prey. And there's rumors circulating that if we get a sequel to this movie, she will actually be who the Birds of Prey go up against. Birds of Prey versus a Harley Quinn. So that tells me that she was never meant to be a part of this team. She was a temporary member, but now, and this is what I loved about her character arc, is she actually has a sidekick. She has this little girl going around with her, a kind of a new dynamic duo. And we've actually not even mentioned the fact that she has separated herself from the Joker because the Joker broke up with her.
Mhm.
So we see her going through all of these different emotions. And some people, I've seen a lot of complaints online. A couple people's like, I'm not going to go watch it because females.
Okay.
I'm just like,
whatever.
Okay.
All right.
And a lot of people, I hate the movie. Have you seen it? No, I haven't seen it. So that could be why the box office is a bit lower, because a lot of people just have that stigma.
Well, that's why
and
we're,
I'll be honest with you,
yeah, go ahead.
I was looking forward to this, but I didn't know it would be this good. I didn't think it would be this good. Surprised. It
Wait,
really
I kind of
did.
sounded like the dude from Dark Crystal just said. But I understand what you're saying, though. I didn't really expect it. Here's the thing. Movies like this, I don't want to spoil too much. I want to go in with a blank perspective expectation. Yes. Now, this is not Endgame, or this is not Infinity War, or, Winter Soldier, or whatever. This is Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey. And so movies like this, I want to call them subgenre comic films. Joker was another one. I went into the theater with an open mind, not really, having any preconceived notions, not listening to Flickster and Rotten Tomatoes, because that can jack you up. I just kind of went in with my own, and I was like, holy cow, that is a freaking beautiful film. Now, does Joker compare to Birds of Prey? No. But Birds of Prey, if you're comparing Birds of Prey and Suicide Squad, so Suicide Squad's probably at about a 5%, where Birds of Prey's at about a 75%. So whatever crap you're hearing online that this is not a good film, it's kind of false. Because unless you go see the movie for yourself and make your own conclusions, then you're not going to be sitting there. You're going to be listening to everybody else and doing what everybody else is doing instead of you actually getting up off your butt and actually watching it and then making your own conclusion about it. Preach, Joe. But I'm just saying, though, it does bother me when people try to trash a movie, especially a movie like this, that is kind of breaking the genres and the barriers. We've never had an all-female action team film. 5 years ago, I would have never dreamed that Harley Quinn would feature in her own movie. Dude, we just got a Harley Quinn film.
Crazy, man.
And there was explosions and decapitations, and it was just crazy cool. Not to mention the hyena. That's her pet.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the hyena for a minute? That was awesome.
I love another.
Right out of the comics. Yeah.
Perfect.
The Joker and Harley, they both have a whole band of hyenas. That's their pets.
Oh, and speak on the Joker, we've kind of realized now that there's no way they're bringing back Jared Leto. If Jared Leto was coming back at all, he would have featured in this film, because that's been the rumor for quite some time. It is seriously, that's been the rumor. Everybody's been saying Jared Leto's going. They showed the back of his head. They showed pictures. They showed drawings. You never saw his face. And what did we even see in the pictures that she drew of him? No tattoos, nothing. So they are straying as far away from him as they possibly can, and they're going to bring in a new actor?
I think a good route for them to go, and this is just Joe. All right, you don't have to take my word for it. Dun-dun-dun. But I think it would be really cool if they explained. Now, we saw this in Ben Affleck's Batman film, where there was a Robin suit that had the ha-has all over it. There is a story arc where Robin becomes psychologically ill and becomes a Joker. Not the Joker, a Joker. I think it would be a good way to that Joker was Robin who went mad. He went crazy. Insert Nightwing.
That's good.
So that will be the only way to really explain that and just get away with that Joker once and for all.
And to speak on Joker too, I also kind of find it funny. You mentioned Rotten Tomatoes. Birds of Prey has a very high score. It has in the 90s on Rotten Tomatoes right now. Whereas Joker, 11-time nominee Joker, obviously critics aren't voting for the Oscars. This is people within Hollywood, and they know what good movies are more so than I guess some of these critics. I find it funny that only got a 69 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
And here's why I read a lot of these reviews, and here's why. Well, because Joker overly violent. Sign of the times. We're supposed to be rooting for this maniacal killer that goes around killing people and laughs about it. Hey, wake up. What was Birds of Prey? What was this movie that y'all just gave a 91 on Rotten Tomatoes?
For each.
You bunch of hypocrites. Oh my God, hypocrites.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know
Ooh.
it is pretty bad, and you know that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do a specific Birds of Prey episode tonight. Is there's a lot of stigma, man. It's just like so stupid how people will latch on and they'll read one reviewer's review on it with a splat and be like, oh, that's it. You know, it's got so and it doesn't have Joker in it. I'm not going to go watch it. Really,
Mm-hmm.
really, that's all you're going to do, dude. The movie has like a 93% rating right now. Go watch it and enjoy it. But there's so many aspects of this film. My buddy Steve Medeiros is in the room here. He said only Harley could have been have a hyena fall for her and not growl at her when she gets up close to personal with it in front of the cage. That's true, Harley. That's true. I mean, one animal to another. And it's just really cool though because this movie is one of those movies that you have to see to where you can draw your own conclusions because you're going to, I said it a while ago, you're going to end up making your own, you go see the movie. All right. That's what I'm trying to say. Go see the movie, draw your own conclusions. But, all right. So let's get back. We got Black Mask, Ewan McGregor. We got Victor Zsasz. Now you may know him from Gotham. Oh, remember that?
Big part.
Big role in that. And also too from the Arkham series, the Batman video game by Rocksteady. Huge. He definitely has a huge role in those games as well. But it was really cool to see him. So let's talk about the finality of it. There's this crazy pier and the fog is rolling in and you got the city of Gotham in the background. And it was just really interesting to see like these giant, like Tim Burton-esque style statues on this lining this pier, and they're kind of hiding from the birds of prey, and so Black Mask at this point has the kid that swallowed the diamond, and he's trying to get the diamond. He doesn't really care what he's got to do to get it. If he's got to cut her open, then so be it. And these birds of prey is like, no, that's not going to happen. She's one of us. We got to go save her, and that's pretty much the finale of the film. And what did you think about Black Mask's demise off the pier?
Oh, what a
explosive.
We talk R-rated, and just, I mean, the pier in general. This movie did a great job of showing the inner workings of Gotham, the parts that maybe we don't see in all of the Batman films, and then we get this atmosphere and everything's intense and crazy, and he blows up into 5 different chunks.
Oh my gosh!
The most and the way that it had been going. I mean, you can tell too. So they brought in Chad Stahelski from John Wick.
Yeah.
And you can tell that's what they did the action. They based it off of John Wick because the action, let me tell you, any moment the story started to lose me in this movie, because there were a couple times where I'm just like, all right, let's pick it up. Let's move on. And let this action would happen. And I was so impressed with the camera work, the stunts, the choreography, and apparently Margot Robbie did 90% of her stunts.
I read an article about that, and I was blown away. I was like, wait, what?
Unreal. Flips. I mean,
she's pretty.
Are you kidding me?
She's pretty legit, dude. I mean,
she is. Yeah,
that's insane.
She could have won an Oscar last night or 2 nights ago too. That's how good of an actress
she's like.
She
Tom
is,
Holland, because Tom Holland does all of his own stunts.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. So, and it was perfect. So. We expected something like that to happen with Black Mask at the end, but the fact that he blew up into that many pieces, it's the perfect way. I hated that he died because I wanted to see him again.
I actually was getting ready to say that. I was like, I really wish I would have kept him around for part 2.
Me too. Yeah. But it makes sense.
Yeah. You got to think of Ewan McGregor too. Would he really want to sign on and do another role? Because he's a very busy man, especially with Kenobi coming up. So,
absolutely.
But I think all in all, the film from start to finish was a wild ride. There was moments when I was in the audience. We were there at preview night, and there's a scene where Harley Quinn breaks the legs of the driver of the Black Mask in the bar. Dude, it was like the whole audience went, "Oh!" And you see his legs bend. Oh gosh, it's so nasty.
And I think part of that too is we look at its B+ cinema score. So cinema score is when audiences come out of a theater, they take a survey and they say, what did they like it? Did they not like it? Cinema score is based on expectations going in and what you think you're going to get out of a movie. And that's why I don't tend to trust as much as some of these other things. But the people that didn't know the adults that walked into this not knowing it was R-rated, and then that scene happens, and they're not ready for that, and maybe they don't like that kind of thing. I understand.
Yeah.
Because it was graphic. But I know you were doing this, and I know I was doing this. We were both sitting in the theater going, let's go, break his legs.
Let's do it.
Awesome, man.
And
it was so awesome.
I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he was debating on going to see it because, he likes a good comic book film, and he can get by the R-rated stuff if it's not a lot of sexual stuff. We were just talking back and forth, and I was like, well, there's not hardly any of that. The sexual content. That's not why it's rated R. It's rated R for pure guts, gore, and language, of course. And so he's like, really? So there's a lot of blood? There's no like nudity? I'm like, no, it's just a lot of blood. It's pretty disgusting, so if you're curious about that, and that's one of your stumbling blocks, I'm just letting you know that there's not any of that in there, unless you have a problem seeing Margot Robbie in a very tight short outfit. But
I have no issues with that.
I have no issues. Oh, wait, whoa, strike that, reverse it. No, what are you trying to do to me here, son? But so closing thoughts, anything you want to add as we're wrapping up Birds of Prey?
I didn't love it. I wanted to love it, especially seeing that 90 on Rotten Tomatoes and how many critics are giving it. I'm talking 9s and 10s out of 10s. I'm like, all right, but I couldn't quite get there because there were moments in the story that it did feel kind of repetitive. I talked about the action. They did kind of redo a couple of stunts. I'm just like, oh, guess what? She's going to flip in superhero pose. And I kept thinking, and I know it's kind of a Deadpool movie, but I kept thinking of Deadpool when he goes, superhero landing. There's a lot of superhero landings in this movie.
Yeah.
But all in all, I had so much fun.
Yeah.
I had such a great time with these characters, the interactions, and in that fun house at the end when Huntress and the camera is moving through these characters.
That was awesome, dude.
Oh, dude. So awesome. So awesome. So a great time overall and a really fun movie.
Yeah. And so I'm curious to hear what your score would be too, as Austin and I are getting ready to score the film. The thing that was echoing back to me, my first reaction when I was walking out of the theater was a 68%. Okay. So having actually processed all of that I seen the following day, I'm going to land at a 72% on this film.
Oh, you're very close to what my score was.
What was yours?
I haven't adjusted it. I'm still at 73.
You're at 73. Now, what did Madison give it?
70. And we didn't.
Wait, that is right. In your video, you both gave 73. I remember that. We didn't
discuss it. We didn't talk to each other. And we were in my video. She goes to 73%. And I looked at her. I'm like, girl, that's what it's that link, man. But you gave it a 72. So we're very, very close.
Wow.
But here's what a 70, 72, 73 is. That is a good movie. That is a fun time. Didn't do anything exemplary, but it is one that I would recommend to see in a theater as soon as you can because of the theatrical experience and seeing Harley Quinn.
Don't take your kids, though. Don't take your kids. This is...
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't. There's a reason why it's rated R. And there's a lot of gore in here and decapitations and skin being pulled off of people's faces. I'm sure you don't want your children to see that. But it was a great ride. And you know what? I would be very open to see more of movies, whether it be from Marvel Entertainment or DC Entertainment, of this genre. These like subgenre films that are exploring the B character lists, if you will. I'm open to seeing more of that. If they're on this caliber, like Suicide Squad with James Gunn coming up, I'm pretty stoked to see that. I think it's going to be a good one.
Did you hear the new Marvel rumor today?
What's the new Marvel rumor today?
Spider-Woman is getting her own movie.
Spider? Now, are they doing Spider-Gwen?
Now, Spider-Gwen will feature heavily into the next Spider-Verse, and there's rumors that she may actually be a part of a team-up between her and Silver Sable in a live-action film. But I believe this is just the OG Spider-Woman, and they're saying that's going to fill that untitled slot in 2022.
Well, now that we're talking Spider-Man, woman, Gwen, I'm pretty excited that Sam Raimi is helming this upcoming film. Why? Tobey Maguire, duh. So we may see some pretty awesome mind-bending stuff in
It's
the
a
months and years.
multiverse movie, man.
It is a multiverse movie.
He's directing a multiverse movie with the opportunity to bring in Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Come on, make it happen.
Oh my gosh.
Marvel.
Could you imagine if he got Willem Dafoe back as Green Goblin?
I would explode.
Oh gosh, what a
would
great
freaking-
cast. I hated the costume, but loved the character.
Yes, preach.
Yeah.
Preach on that.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
So, all right, dude. Well, we're 3 minutes at the top of the hour here. We have done an entire hour of just us yakking back and forth. And you know what? We have had a great turnout over on PopX Live. It is so cool to see all of our friends here hanging out with us tonight. And I could go down Jonathan Medina, Steve Medeiros. We got Sean Hockney, Jessica Payne, Derek Smith, Cody O'Toole. The list just, Luke McCracken. The list just keeps going on and on and on. So we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I want to let you guys know that, well, you know what? I'll say here in just a second as we get ready to wrap up. But Birds of Prey, great film. Listen to us. Go see it. Hopefully, well, if you're hearing me say that, you have saw it and you're not getting yourself spoiled. But if you're some people like they just don't care, then there you go. But anyway, moving on here. Austin, you ready to bring this ship home, son?
Let's wrap it up, man.
Wrap it up.
I am Austin Burkett, the Burkinator. You guys can search and find me everywhere on the YouTubes, Instagrams, Twitters. We are part of the newly formed creative group known as the Creative Multiverse. So for more great media content, artwork, and more, find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at the Creative Multiverse. And trust me, guys, there's some awesome artwork and talented people on there. And Joe's doing some great live streams. So please go check that out. If you're a creative, if you produce content or have a talent, we want to see it. We would like for you guys to share it with us in the multiverse. You can also connect with us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and Pinterest, all at PopXcast. Send us comments and suggestions via email at popxcast@gmail.com. And for future and past shows, visit our official website, www.popxcast.com. And of course, we want to thank Stephen Haywood and Telestream for Wirecast, the incredible program that allows us to do what we do, and we would not be here without that.
Right. And of course, I want to say a huge hats off to all of our friends that's listening online and watching online on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and beyond. Before I do my part wrap up, I want to give a quick announcement. There's two things coming up here that we have. One is I officially have released one of my artworks. If you guys follow me on @JosephBurkArts on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, I have been working for the past 5 months on an artwork that is a retro design. Now, Austin, you won't be able to see this, but I'm going to show everybody a preview of this artwork right now. This is called the Retro Marvel Universe. And if you want to have a copy of this, or if you want to own a digital copy of this, head over to josephburkarts.com and check it out. And Austin, I'll send a copy of this to you in your DMs later so you can have a little gander of it, okay? But awesome. It's pretty cool, and it harkens back to one of my favorite Marvel artists. His name is Paul Ryan, who passed away 4 years ago from cancer. Ryan did a lot of the Fantastic Four and this series called the Marvel Universe, which was an alphabetical order type comic book of a series. It had multiple series. I think it had 4 runs. Each run had 6 comics. And so it would go from alphabetical order to A to Z, every character in Marvel, and it would give you like their front stance, their side stance, their origins, their history, their backstory, and it's pretty cool. And it was something that was done in the 80s, and Paul Ryan did all the artwork for those characters. And that is one of the artists, aside from Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee and Jack Kirby, that inspired me, among a handful of others. There's so many, Sal Buscema, I can just keep going on and on. And so next up is, I want to say, join us next time on episode 107, and that's going to be coming up on March the 1st, if I'm not mistaken. And we'll be doing a live stream with our friends from OM53. Now, who and what is OM53? Well, I'm about to show you right now. OM53 is a retro synthwave band from New Jersey, and you're seeing them on the screen right now. They are pretty rad. It's headed up by the front man there, Chris. Chris is a really cool dude, and they do a very cool genre of music called synthwave. If you don't know what that is, it's 80s infusion music that is making a comeback. So the music that we were coming on to the show today was OM53. And so I hope you guys enjoy that. And we'll be talking with the band. Right. It's something we've never done here on PopX is actually do a band interview. But I'm no stranger to that because when I was a radio disc jockey for 10 years on WMMT, I interviewed artists and band all the time. So what better way if PopX is part of the heart of pop culture, why not interview some people that are involved in that culture, right? And I do want to go on the record to say Chris is a former ministry pastor, and all of their lyrics are done with faith inspired. So it is heaven wave. So it's retro synth wave with faith lyrics. So there you go. And so that's going to be, I'm so excited. I'm just bubbling at the seams to be able to interview these guys. You have no idea. But that's coming up on 107 in just a couple of weeks on March the 1st. And that's pretty much it here on PopXcast. And man, holy cow, I'm exhausted after all that. I don't know about you.
Me too.
I'm a little tired. It was a good show. It was good. And as we're going to land the ship and we're going to bring it home. Again, thank you to all of our amazing listeners out there. You guys are just freaking awesome as always. And be sure to check us out on 107 as we talk to OM53. And it's going to be pretty rad. So from all of us here at PopXcast, thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. And you know what? We'll see you next time right here on PopXcast.
From everyone at PopXcast, thanks for listening. Please make sure to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/PopXcast, and click the follow button to get our live stream notifications. Drop us an email, popxcast@gmail.com. Be sure to check out this and more great content on the Gonna Geek Network at GonnaGeek.com. Get your geek on!